I helped my client save more than 50 hours per week of time while also doubling his monthly profit to over $120,000 per month. How did I do this? I built a 15 million per year business by the time I was 26 years old. We've been listed as best place to work 3 times in a row by the Houston Business Journal, one of the fastest growing companies by Inc. magazine. And I help also business owners anywhere from startups to 9 figures scale, get back their time, and run more efficiently. And in less than 10 minutes, I'm gonna show you exactly how I helped my client do this so you can also scale your business as well. When he first came to me, he had 3 core problems. Number one is he was working anywhere between 60 to 70-hour weeks. Even though he had a small team of about 8 to 10 people, he was involved in everything. If there was a problem in one department, he would go handle it. If there was a major issue in sales, he would handle it. If there was something in marketing, he would be the most involved in all of those things. So even though he wanted to continue to grow his business, which he was doing great at, he was getting burnt out and not allowed to spend his time on the things that actually grew his business. And instead, he was burnt out. Second is he did not have a clear goal. He had things that he wanted to accomplish, but the problem was because he was so bottlenecked and having to be involved in every area of his business, he couldn't focus his energy towards his ultimate goal. And then third, for a while, he had been making great money and had extremely low customer acquisition costs. But unfortunately, because he was so busy with everything else, his customer acquisition costs nearly doubled, causing his profit to shrink 40+%. So the first thing that we did is we identified every single thing that he's working on. And if you have a pen and paper or the notes of your phone, or you can save this video and come back to it later, I want you to do this simple exercise. I want you to take out a piece of paper, notes something, and write out every single task that you do each week and total the amount of hours next to it. Now, these tasks have to be a few different categories. Number one, it cannot be the highest leverage task. A high leverage task would be training 10 sales reps who all make 150 calls per day. That's high leverage. Low leverage might be scheduling an appointment, right? Next is anything that you could hire or automate that you do not directly specialize in. Okay, this could be adjusting a CRM. This could be specializing something in advertising. This could be writing copy on emails that you could hire someone out very quickly to do it. It could be onboarding new hires and doing onboarding calls for 20 minutes. But I want you to total all of these tasks that don't truly move the needle and also anything you just flat out don't like. And I want you to total the amount of hours you spend per week. And then I want you to times that by 4 and then times that by 12. And I want you to see the total amount of hours that you spend every week, every month, and every year on things that aren't actually moving the needle. Now, I know your first instinct many times is, well, Grant, like, I have to do these things. I have a small company. It's maybe yourself and a few other people. If I don't do these things, the company's not going to work. I used to think the exact same thing. In my first year when I built my residential solar company, I did everything. We did almost 6 million in sales. It was fantastic. We were getting these awards. But the reality was I was working every single day except Christmas and Thanksgiving. And even on those days, I was antsy and anxious, worried if something was going to go wrong. But what I learned is that the CEO of the company, you, the founder of the business, is the LeBron James or Michael Jordan of the company. And while it's great to have you involved in important issues, if you're spread thin, you don't have time to work on the business because you're so involved in the operation. So, like your first instinct just said, if you pull yourself out of that, the business would fall. So the first step to diagnosing any problem and solving it is to admit it. We have to admit that we are too busy working on things that don't move the needle, and we have to identify them clearly. Next, what you want to do is spend a weekend, 2 to 3 days, as fast as you can do it while still making it quality work, building out a standard operating procedure and a file that hosts all of them for each position or department, and fill it out beautifully. to where if you could grab someone off the street that was relatively smart and could take direction, within about a week, they could do that role, they could do that task. Okay, the next thing that you're gonna do is you're going to determine who or what you can delegate this task to. Okay, for some of you that have small business, my client, for example, had about 8 to 10 employees. So what we did is he identified what employee can handle what thing, and he started adding tasks to their operation and then training them on it. If you don't have anybody to do this, I recommend first starting with a virtual assistant that you can outsource from overseas that is anywhere typically between $5 to $7 per hour, and you can have them do all of these tasks for you. Now, this process of delegating, it depends on the company, it depends on how motivated you are, but my client was able to delegate all of these tasks in about 10 days. He had a great team, he worked like crazy, and he got it done, right? Now, once you delegate all of your tasks, right, and you have your time back, okay, and you utilize automations, utilize AI, utilize your employees, you even hired a virtual assistant or an assistant or any employee to do these tasks, you now just gained back anywhere between 15 to 50 hours per week. My client was able to literally save 50 hours a week. 50 hours. So let's think about this. If you're already the best player in your company, and we now gave a full work week back to you, think about how powerful that can be. Because if you were 75% of the horsepower of that business, you almost doubled the company's capacity just by getting your time back. Okay? So the next thing that you are going to do is just sit there. For the first time in your life, I want you to take a walk. Go get some lunch. Relax. Now, I'm not telling you to be lazy. I'm telling you to just feel what it feels like to be able to breathe while your business actually still runs. Then I want you to just open up your mind and go, what is my ultimate goal with this business? And with my client, he briefly said some ideas that he wanted to do, but after I met with him the second time, after he got all this time back, I said, clear as day, what is your dream with this business? And what he figured out is he doesn't want to just grow a $10 or $20 million business. He thinks that he could make 4 separate sales channels of the specific products and services that he has, but with slightly different niches to total the business at over $100 million. And when we identified that, I challenged him to only spend his energy, those 40 hours that he was spending on all the internal operations, and instead spend all of that energy solving that problem, figuring out the infrastructure, the capital needed, the people needed, the markets needed, the partners, the systems, the automations. Only solve that infrastructure now. And yes, save the 10 to 20 extra hours and spend that on solving your company's biggest problem, handling any fires, making key hires, and doing whatever your company needs. But the majority of your energy only on fixing the problems, okay? So that was the first thing. I challenged him to identify exactly what he wanted to do and get his time back. And this happens every time I work with any business owner one-on-one. 2 weeks, sometimes it's 3 months, it depends on the business. They'll text me and say, Grant, I got a problem. I go, what's up? They go, I don't know what to do, I'm bored. And I go, perfect. This was my goal. Because now you have the ability to truly grow and scale your business. For my client, his biggest issue at hand, yes, he wanted to build it to a $100 million business, but his customer acquisition costs had risen almost 40%. And this was slowly cutting his profit almost in half. But this was the thing. He already specialized in marketing and advertising. He was great with numbers. He just didn't have the time to actually spend time to fix this problem. So what I had him do is I said, since you're such a high volume business, every single customer that comes in, an extra $30, $50, half of 1% conversion adds up. It seems like nothing, but when you have thousands of customers, the next 1,000 customers times $50 is $50,000. And every penny you get over what you're doing now, every added conversion that you get is free cash flow. That is basically almost all going to your bottom line. So what I said is I want you to look at your entire funnel and find the leaks in that. Figure out how you can charge more, figure out how you can upsell more, figure out how you can adjust the funnel and convert more appointments, convert more people into the webinars, convert more customers, and make more money. And by just him doing it, because he already specialized in this, and even if he didn't, he would have been able to go find someone, contract them, whatever the case may be, and just diagnose it because he's not putting out all these fires. He came back to me about another week or so later. He goes, Grant, we just doubled our profit. We did $60,000 in 1 week. We usually do that in a month. So what's the lesson here? Was he capable enough of solving that problem 3 months ago? Yes. He was smart enough. He had the experience. He was creative enough. What was the problem? He did not have his time. Remember, you are the star player of your company. So if we have a finite amount of energy, a limited amount of energy, every time we spend it, we lose opportunity costs that we could have directed that energy to something massive that's going to really, really move the needle. So I want you to challenge this. I'm going to recap this for you and end it here, is write out everything that you do on a weekly basis. Create a standard operating procedure. Find out who or how you can delegate this. If you need to find a person, replace how with who. Someone already specializes in it. Have a clear goal. And then last, only work on that goal and what is most important to your business at that time, right? And lastly, guys, I host a free business workshop for business owners every Tuesday at 5. And also every month, I bring anywhere between 5 to 7 business owners to work with me one-on-one to scale, grow, and optimize their business. If you guys are interested, click either of the links below, comment below, press the hype button, share this with a friend. Most importantly, have a credible week, crush it. Entrepreneurs keep the world running, and you make a huge difference. Rooting for you guys. Talk to you guys soon.